Hello, my wonderful souls. I have summoned you today to speak to you about a variety of topics, one of which is going to interest you very much because you can win something. So stick with me here. I'm going to talk about two things real quick. The first one is that I am creating a Patreon finally. If I have it by the time I upload this video, then I will put a link in the description box below, and it would mean a lot to me if you could look at it, look at the rewards, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to keep creating YouTube content. I know some people are worried that it becomes like a one-on-one thing as soon as a Patreon gets established, but no, you'll read all about that on the Patreon page, so I'm not going to go into it. The second thing, whoa, the sun is coming out. I hope the light isn't getting messed up. The second thing I want to speak about is the giveaway. As a thank you for all of you who are here with me in my domain, dwelling with me, chilling with me, I want to do a giveaway. This is basically a thank you for reaching 1,000 subscribers. By the time I upload this, I already almost have 1,200 subscribers. It is amazing. It makes me happy. And it is always great to see that so many people are interested in my content. So I will give back to you by giving away a book or a tarot deck. The winner can choose which one they want. Great, isn't it? Great, 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 great. I know a lot of us are doing a depth year right now, but that shouldn't stop us from winning things. And you know, if you really don't want a physical thing and you win this giveaway, let me know, and we will figure something out. I will give you something else of equal value, whether it is a tarot reading with me, a tarot reading with one of your favorite tarot readers. All of these things can happen if you say, I don't want a book, I don't want a tarot deck, I want to dive deeper with my psyche. All of the information on how you can participate in the giveaway, I will put in the comment, the first comment on my video, so that I don't have to talk about this for 5 minutes and bore you. Now that we have those two things covered, let us get into the meat of this video. The meat and bones of this video, the vegetables of this video. And honestly, I don't have anything planned. I have a rough idea, which is to talk about the 3 big signs that dominate my birth chart. I think in January there was this challenge, 31 Days of Tarot. I want to say it was established by Ethany, a very great member of the community. One of the day's challenges was to talk about your 3 big signs, your sun sign, your moon sign, and your ascendant, because those 3 in combination can give away a lot about your personality. And for me personally, they definitely have brought merit to my self-exploration and my self-discovery. What I want with this video is not to blab to you about how I am. Well, I will blab about that, but I also want to give you some value so that you can tell what your birth chart might be about. I will link below my favorite website that I use in order to get birth charts set up. You just have to know your date of birth, your time of birth, your place of birth, and you're good. Even if you don't know the exact time, you can just play around a little. It'll probably show you. Okay. So let us talk generally about what I personally have discovered about myself and what those 3 big signs mean to me. Depending on your childhood, in my opinion, your sun sign will be very dominant, or it might be kind of suppressed. You've probably heard me talk a lot about shadow work and about how the things that we are taught as children are acceptable will be what we exhibit in our later lives. That means that if your sun sign is something very outgoing and something very fiery, but that kind of gets discouraged with you as a child, you are not encouraged to speak your mind, you are not encouraged to tell people how you feel. If you're a water sign maybe, then you're not going to exhibit those qualities in your adult life, but I still feel like they are somehow at your core. And this is completely independent of whether you believe in astrology. What I mean by that is that whether I believe in it or not, does not matter. What matters is that I look at my birth chart, I read about my birth chart, I think about my relation with my zodiac signs, with the planets, and based on that, I draw conclusions and I get to know myself better. If I read, or if you read, all of the attributes that supposedly a Libra has, and you are a Libra and you see none of it in you, that will have taught you something about yourself that you didn't know beforehand. So it's not a matter of belief, it's a matter of engagement for me. So let's say you are a Libra, but you are very intense. You make fast decisions, you are not one to ponder and think about things forever. And then you read about Libras and how balanced they are and how they want nothing more than balance, and you kind of don't feel that. Then that is a good point to start to explore. Say, do I really not want balance in my life? Do I really always need adventure? Do I always need emotion? Do I always need intensity? Or is it maybe that I am suppressing this part of myself and I should explore in that direction? It is a great way to get inspiration for your path of self-discovery, in my opinion, looking at your birth chart. Now, let me talk about my birth chart a little bit. I am an Aries sun and a Virgo ascendant and a Scorpio moon. I am turning 27 this April. And I have to say, the older I get, the more I identify with my Aries personality. As a child, I was not outgoing, 0%. I did not like talking to people. I was always very hermity, very focused on myself. And I should probably say what 3 cards correspond to my 3 big signs. With Aries, you obviously in tarot have the Emperor. With Virgo, you have the Hermit, and with Scorpio, you have Death. All of these 3 cards are equally important to me, I feel like, and it is sometimes said that your ascendant is the first thing that a lot of people will see. It is what you exhibit when you are in an unknown situation, and I can definitely see the truth of that. Because if you first start working with me, or start talking to me, or start analyzing my behavior, you will probably see that I have a lot of perfectionistic and very detail-oriented tendencies, which is traditionally Virgo of me. That is why my ascendant sometimes steps to the forefront. My Aries sun leads to me being very rash sometimes. They are very complex beings most of the time and hugely misunderstood beings most of all. The thing is that Aries is a very intense sign, which means that the baseline of an Aries, and I don't want to generalize here, I'm going to because I need to explain this in a way to make sense, so excuse the generalization. But a lot of fire signs have this tendency to have a very intense baseline that is misunderstood by a lot of people. If I had €1 for every time a person said to me, "Why are you getting so upset right now?" I would be rich. I would be the richest bitch on the planet, because many people perceive my natural way of speaking, which is very loud, my natural way of articulating, which is very clear, and my natural way of discussing things as an argument. They perceive it as me being upset and me being angry, even though I do not feel that. And the funnest thing is when people then start telling you how you feel. They are like, "Are you not even noticing how intense you are? Are you not even noticing that you're angry?" And it's like, no. If I don't feel angry, why do I need you to tell me that I'm angry? And I think this is what a lot of fire signs maybe struggle with. If you are one, represent in the comments, because sometimes it feels like people are trying to make you see something about yourself that just isn't there. It is their perception. If you talk to someone who's a naturally very chill person and you are someone who gives everything in a discussion, or not in an argument, in a simple discussion, then they will start perceiving it as aggressive, even though you're not trying to be. And finding the balance between actually taking this criticism that someone is giving you and being like, okay, I think I have to slightly adjust the way I discuss things in order to make myself easier to digest for other people, and at the same time retaining your inner core, your inner being. It can be very, very hard, because a lot of people have issues with speaking out, with speaking their opinion, with feeling passionate about a subject and verbalizing their thoughts about it. So when they see that in another person, it's very problematic for them. And this is not me trying to say like, it's everybody else's fault, I am perfect and everybody else is messed up. That's not what I mean. What I mean is that you cannot push your own shadows on someone else. And that is what a lot of people do with very passionate and very intense people, especially where I live. You know, I live in Germany, I am a German, so I have that Nordic blood, which is naturally more chill and more focused on preserving energy, just culturally, than expanding and pushing energy outwards. So in some situations, I can feel quite out of place where I am. But that's where the Virgo comes in, because my Virgo, my Hermit personality, is very taken back, very chilled out, very focused on me, on retaining my energy, on kind of putting myself in a little protective capsule and not really caring about what else is going on outside of me. And I can tend to be quite critical. That's a side of me that I feel like was encouraged when I was a child. It was encouraged that I be critical of things, that I be suspicious of things, that I try to kind of preserve the bubble that I am in, rather than stepping out of it and engaging with people and trying new things. So even today, that can take precedence over my Aries personality sometimes, and over those fiery parts of my personality. So for you, I'd love to know if you feel like your ascendant actually is the first thing that people see, because oftentimes we are perceived as our ascendants first and foremost, and only secondly as our sun sign. Now, it is said that the moon sign corresponds to the deepest desires or deepest parts of your psyche that are often unconscious and that may only step into the light when you actively engage with them rather than trying to push them down. For me, that is Scorpio. Scorpio is a sign of emotional intensity for sure, and of seeking deep relationships rather than superficial ones. At least for me, that is how I see it. In my one-on-one communication with people, I seek depth. I tend to feel disconnected from people very quickly if I have shallow conversations. But at the same time, I'm not the best at bringing about deep conversations. I'm still learning that. And I feel like having those deep conversations, it just gives me something. And especially when people share things with me and I can share things with them openly. So I think that is where I mostly see my Scorpio moon. There is, of course, also a very great seductive side to the idea of Scorpios, to the traditional side of Scorpios. You know, sometimes they are highly associated with sexuality. I can definitely tell that while I wasn't very, let's call it womanly or seductive in my early 20s or my teenage years, I am discovering this side of myself more and more. And I quite enjoy it. I quite enjoy creating an outside husk, a vessel that represents what is inside of me. And I feel that that is related to the Scorpio as well, because Scorpios, as you know, shed their skin. That is why Scorpio as a zodiac sign is often associated with transformation and with change as well as emotion, because it is a water sign. So this creation of a new outside body that represents what is within, I can relate that back to my Scorpio moon if I want to. If I want to really try and kind of encapsulate my being in my birth chart, then that is one of the avenues I will go. I will put in the description box also the correspondences between the 12 zodiac signs and the tarot cards, so you can check which of the tarot cards corresponds to your sun sign and possibly your other signs if you know them. I think it's a very, very fun exercise, and I have gone a long way with accepting my Aries personality, accepting my power and my talents, and it's a very enlightening way of looking at your being, if you ask me. And whether I believe that the stars actually influenced how I am, honestly, I think it's just an amalgamation of so many things. You have your past lives that play into it. You have the way you were raised, you have the planetary positions, you have the season that you were born in, the atmosphere that you were born in. All of these things, I think, influence how you are. So a birth chart by no means is the one and only alpha and omega answer to who you are and how you are, but it is a gateway into exploring this. So I want to encourage you to look at your 3 signs, the sun, the moon, and the ascendant. Let me know what they are if you want to, and let me know your journey with them. I am thinking about making a more detailed video about my journey as an Aries specifically and as a fire sign specifically, and how it took me until I was 25, 26 to really feel understood. And I want to link a channel below from someone who was one of the first people who really put into words how Aries are in a way that made me feel like I was understood, like I was represented as a person. And before that, I was still kind of on the fence about zodiac signs, you know, kind of like, I don't know if I believe in that. I don't know if it matters. One more thing I need to say, don't use your birth chart as an excuse to not grow. You know, I could say like, I'm an Aries. It's just how I am, you know, it's just how I am. I don't need to change at all, ever. Don't do that. Don't be that person who is like, if you can't handle me at my worst, you don't deserve me at my best. Like, I don't know. We're all complicated people, but I think working on ourselves and working on our relationships with everybody around us is immensely important. And of course, as I said, it's important to find that line between compromising and learning how you can relate to the outside world in a way that makes you not hurt other people, and at the same time preserving that which is you, your core, your inner being. And that line between those two extremes isn't always easy to walk, but it is what I feel a lot of my life and a lot of my path is about. It is about figuring out where is the line between being impatient and being hurtful to others and because I am impatient with them, or being hurtful towards myself, and being fast, being quick, being able to make fast decisions. You know, there's always kind of a more positive side and a negative side to all of these ways in which we act. Whether you are ambitious or arrogant is a very big difference, but at the same time, it's not that far from each other. Whether you are impatient or fast acting and fast deciding, it's a thin line sometimes. Whether you are driven and motivated or bulldozing over people and forcing your will on other people, thin line in the end. In the end, the line is thinner than you think. And walking that line and figuring it out is something that I really enjoy, honestly, most of the time. It can be tough, but my birth chart has helped me with it, so I wanted to share this. And I really hope you enjoyed this video because it was kind of unplanned, rambly, out there, blah, blah, blah. I hope that maybe it will inspire you to look at your zodiac signs in a different way or look at your tarot decks in a different way. Let me know below. If you enjoyed this time, then it would make me very happy if you dwelled in my domain a little longer and subscribe to my channel. You know the drill, you know it by now. I can't wait for YouTube to get rid of that goddamn bell. And then we will have like these millions of videos where everybody is like, don't forget to subscribe and click the bell. And in 20 years, everybody will be like, what bell? What are they talking about? It will be so funny. As I said, check out the Patreon link if it is there. If it's not, follow me on Instagram because there I will definitely have it up as soon as I am done with my Patreon offers. And I will put all of the giveaway information down below as well. I thank you so much for watching this and for being here with me. And I can't wait to hear your zodiac experience, your crazy zodiac learnings and insights. And I wish you the greatest of days, the greatest of weeks. And I can't wait to see you again soon.